So you're saying that the canceling of an event isn't that odd in Japan, but Nintendo has planned several events over in Japan, some esports events, one for Splatoon and I think Smash Brothers and Mario Kart, Splatoon and Mario Kart. They're going to do an event called Nintendo Live 2024 in Tokyo, and they have postponed the event, straight up, canceling the event, canceling, whatever. They have canceled this Japanese esports events following threats to staffs and spectators. This is from IGN, which is really interesting considering this event was going to take place in Japan. And when you think of quote unquote, toxic fandoms, you don't think of Japan as being a place for toxic fandoms, or maybe they are. I don't know. But a Japanese press release was put out, and it said that revealed that the all ages celebration of Nintendo Fun has been canceled and its main esports tournament is postponed. Nintendo said its employees have received relentless threats, which have recently targeted spectators, attendees, and staff at Nintendo Live 2024, forcing the cancellation in the interest of safety. It was set to take place in January. So that's kind of crazy. They didn't give any.
Yeah, I was gonna say, did we know what the threats were or anything? Were they just I hate your dog, or was it actual real stuff?
Right. No, there's no reference to any of what the actual threats were. And I got to be honest, what are you threatening Nintendo about? I think that's the biggest thing. You're talking about a family-friendly event with Splatoon and Mario Kart.
Is there maybe somebody was being threatened and they just decide to make the entire thing security?
Arch, Arch, your thoughts on this?
Only thing that springs to mind is that the trial against the KyoAni arson is currently ongoing, so they might have something to do with that.
What is this? I don't know what this is. What are you talking about?
Kyoto Animations, an animation studio that made anime over in Japan.
Oh,
it had a crazy person set fire to the building, and I think killed a couple of employees.
Yes.
The trial just started for that, so I don't know.
Maybe.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah,
very interesting.
This was a couple of months ago, wasn't it? Or even a year ago at this point.
Yeah, the fire. That's got to be a while ago now, surely.
Yeah. At least a year, I think, at this point. Yeah, it was kind of big. I remember listening to it a couple months ago about it. Wild stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, it's the only thing I can think of. It doesn't really correlate, but
yeah, that's an interesting parallel for sure. Yeah, Tor says 32 dead, 36 dead, 32 injured, 30 years of original source anime gone. Wow.
Yeah.
That is crazy. Yeah, and wondering if maybe they're afraid of a copycat incident.
You know what? That I would be if that was going on right now with everything going on in the world. People are batshit crazy.
Yeah, because the guy has received a ton of media exposure over it. So.
Oh yeah.
Wow. I mean, that would make sense. That's kind of why you say, over here in the States, they don't repeat the name of of your mass shooters or whatever, or people who do really bad things. The idea of avoiding copycat incidents. With that said, I don't traditionally think of people in Japan as being batshit crazy.
No, they're more sane, aren't they?
Well.
Tell me more, Arch.
I don't know how in depth your knowledge is about the Second World War and the Japanese.
Well, okay. Let me say this. In my limited experience of going to Japan, the people of Japan, and I guess you could say this about it's once again a very small sliver. Japan was like a totally different world than living in the United States. Just drastically different. I felt like people were polite. They may have been scared of me because I was like a foot taller than everybody, right? But everyone was extremely polite. Everyone, one of the most stupid things about their society, which I wish people would bring over to the United States, everyone stayed on the proper side of the road, the aisle, the walkway, whatever. People stayed on the right that needed to be on the right. They stayed on the left that needed to be on the left. It was strictly like a respect thing. And I love that. I thought that was really how it should be, right? Whereas if you walk in the United States, it's just a big old mash of bullshit everywhere, and people are all trying to get everywhere they need to go because it's all about them.
Oh yeah, the Japanese are very polite people, but they are also batshit insane.
There's a lot of kink in Japan. I know that. There's
a
know,
lot worse
The
than
spas
kink.
and stuff.
Have you heard about a certain thing called Unit 731?
I will not be Googling that because I fear that my browser history will be. But tell me more.
To put it swiftly, we know the Germans were pretty bad. The Japanese makes the German look like absolute children in comparison. Their biological experiment unit conducted experiments on Chinese citizens that would be considered mildly unethical by even German standards.
Oh.
So there is also the. Have you seen the meme picture about how Japan removed communism with the guy with the knife?
No, I haven't. No. Well, that's crazy as shit. So
Japan
you're
has
saying
a very aggressive history.
So you're saying that the canceling of an event isn't that odd in Japan?
There's also a culture of very, very zealous fans. So I can see it if they offended them in some way with a new Splatoon or something. The Japanese tend to be very passionate about the things they like.
Yeah, that is
Yes,
true.
I've heard that a lot.
That is true. Well, I'll tell you, someone is apparently very passionate about stopping Nintendo events with Splatoon and Mario Kart.
Apparently.
So, like, fuck you, Luigi. So anyways, I guess we'll look out for that. Sorry, Japan. You got boned. But what do you think about this? Leave us a comment down below. We read every single one of them. Also, make sure you hit the subscribe button because you have found your home for common sense in the gaming and entertainment worlds.